Remember in my last 6.5 Creedmoor video, I went over all the parts that I chose and why I chose those specific parts for that rifle. And I said that I would go over a specific part in another video, that being the buffer that I chose for that rifle. So I originally thought I was going to go with JP Enterprises internals, like the trigger, bolt carrier group, and I was going to use their sonic capture spring in my 6.5 Creedmoor. Then after browsing the internet a little bit more, I came across my friend John's video he did a while back when he had a channel called Chaos. Now everybody knows him as the Gun Collective. Well, he made a review video for the CTS Engineering Active Recoil buffer. Now, John made a good video, and he went over a lot of stuff that pertains to that buffer, but he didn't go over what I'm going to go over in this video. So I'll leave a link to his video in the description below. I highly value John's opinion, as do a lot of people, so I watched the video. It just kind of looked like a regular buffer at first. Then I noticed that the front polymer black portion of the buffer is actually a damper in itself. But then I also noticed something else about the buffer. You can choose to get either the normal CTS buffer or the anti-tilt model. And the anti-tilt model has this little extruded portion on the front face of the buffer that meets up to the bolt carrier group. And when I saw that, I immediately started thinking that that would help center the bolt. Now, CTS Engineering doesn't claim that it centers the bolt carrier group, but what it does is assist the bolt carrier in floating in its natural position, reducing wear and tear. Alright, so if you're watching this video and you don't know how AR-15's bolt and buffer cycle during operation, I highly suggest you guys go and watch the hundreds of AR-15 cycling videos there are out there. But for those of you that know the operation, here we go. So we know that when you pull the trigger, the hammer falls, makes the gun go bang, pushing the whole bolt carrier back. Now, if this was a perfect world, the gas would push on the face of the bolt, pushing the whole bolt carrier back. But the gas pushes on the gas key that's above the bolt center. The hammer falls. The hammer hits the firing pin, makes the gun go bang, and the gas that's pushing the round through the barrel also comes up through the gas block, travels back through the gas tube, and hits the gas key on the bolt carrier group. Now, the gas key is off center of the bolt carrier group. And because it's off center, it's not going to have that straight back push. When the bolt carrier group is pushed rearward, regardless of it being a gas impingement or a piston gun, it's going to put pressure on that top of the bolt carrier group off center. And when it does that, the back of the bolt carrier group will actually dip down as it's cycling rearward. And then when it's pushed forward by the buffer and buffer spring, the back of the bolt carrier group will actually tilt up as it goes into battery. Now, the CTS buffer prevents this from happening because the front face has an extrusion that fits into the bolt carrier group. Even though CTS Engineering doesn't claim that it centers the bolt carrier group, it gets it pretty close. So I think it's going to have an added benefit on a rifle's accuracy. Now, as you see here, this is the play that a normal AR-15 bolt carrier group has inside of the upper receiver. And this is the play that it has inside of the buffer tube. Now, the CTS Engineering Active Recoil buffer should stop most, if not all, of this movement of the bolt carrier group during the action of the weapon. They say that it helps the bolt operate and float during the cycle of the weapon and helps reduce wear. And although they don't claim that it centers the bolt, I'm pretty sure that it would have a positive effect on a rifle's accuracy. Now, CTS Engineering claims that the Active Recoil buffer will smoothen out the cycling of the rifle, reduce recoil, and muzzle jump. I haven't tested the whole reduction of recoil, but me and my friend TJ, aka Mr. Mill if you follow the Facebook page, we went to the range to find out. We took my copper and carbon project rifle to the local indoor range here in town. We shot a couple magazines through it with just the regular A2 rifle buffer. After we got a feel for that A2 rifle buffer, we went ahead and swapped out and put the Active Recoil buffer in. Now, one of the downsides of having the anti-tilt Active Recoil buffer is that little extrusion at the front. What that prevents you from doing is popping the rear pin out to break down the rifle. And then to put the rifle together, you have to lower the upper receiver onto the lower, just in front of the extrusion on the Active Recoil buffer. And then slide the upper receiver rearward on the lower receiver until the pins line up and pop them in. After we swapped out the buffers, after that first round, I could tell the difference. There's a definite difference in the recoil impulse and cycling of the gun. Shooting with the normal A2 rifle buffer just seemed like it was clunky. You could feel things hitting. But after we swapped out to the Active Recoil buffer, it felt like it was running on roller bearings. I'm not really trying to over-exaggerate, but seeing as how you can't feel it for yourself until you get it, that's the best way to describe it. These buffers are under 70 bucks, and that's a hell of a lot cheaper than that Silent Capture Spring from JP Enterprises. And I will say that CTS Engineering's claim that this smoothens out the cycling of an AR is 100% accurate. I really don't know why this buffer doesn't have a bigger reputation than it does. And even there's that drawback of having to pop both pins when doing maintenance or cleaning the rifle. I have one on my 6.5 Creedmoor rifle and my Project Copper and Carbon AR. Like I said, I'll leave a link to John's video in the description below, and also I'll put in a link to CTS Engineering website so you guys can go check out those buffers for yourself. Well, that does it for this video. If you liked the info, you liked the video, make sure to give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Feel free to check us out on Facebook, and with that, I guess I'll see you guys next time.